Steph Weaves Tales presents Paxwood, The Trial of the Demon Slayer, a paranormal fantasy web serial written and narrated by Stephanie Gildart. Episode 4, Letting Your Guard Down. My mind drifted through my hospital admission and pre-surgery. Either I had enough sense to give them my contact information for my parents and Ellis, or they found my emergency contacts pre-programmed into my phone and written out on a card in my wallet. Painkillers and anesthesia kept me under during the surgery. The mind does strange things, mixes past and present, pulls pieces together. This latest emergency pulled me back to my first. Jeremy's kindness melded with Drew's. The pain and the drug-induced haze and balancing on the precipice between life and death. I remembered. Drew, or the thing that wore him, plunged the ceremonial knife deep into me. I was too shocked to utilize any of the defensive strategies Ellis had taught me. Fighting wasn't reflexive yet, especially not fighting my boyfriend. Everything tilted sideways. No, I murmured, reaching out. If I just caressed his face, Drew would remember who he was, wouldn't he? But his eyes were cold and flat. His smile wasn't Drew's smile. No, it was too jagged, too cruel. How could you be the one destined to slay Varoriacs when you're this dense? He asked, as he pulled back his arm to stab me again. It looked like Drew, but did it feel like Drew? When was the last time? Drew, my first and only boyfriend. Until Varoriax was dead and gone, I couldn't make that mistake again. Drew and I had the same math and science classes and the same lunch. Although we had our own friend circles and our interests were pretty different, I liked his offbeat sense of humor. He noticed when I was having off days, although I couldn't explain that my chosen senses were reacting to potential threats that had me on edge. I met with Ellis 3 times a week, once as a therapist, twice at a private gym to train, and it helped. But I was still barely scratching the surface of my chosen calling. I didn't have any serious demonic encounters under my belt. Aunt Gina knew about my calling, but my parents still didn't. And honestly, even if you aren't balancing a destiny on your shoulders, freshman year of high school can be a tough transition. Drew invited me to play cards during lunch or work on homework together, at first when I was having a bad day, but gradually just because. Whenever he did, he kept me present in the moment, never asked me what was wrong. I got up the nerve to ask Drew why he sat with me instead of going and talking about anime with his friends. Like enjoying anime was an insult. He took the jab in stride and told me his little sister had anxiety. Panic attacks are more common than you'd think, he said. Then he started explaining why I might actually enjoy this old 80s anime that was one of his favorites. Before long, I got my breathing and my heart rate under control, and the churning in my stomach settled down. We kept spending time together casually until June. With the end of the school year fast approaching and no guarantees we'd have excuses to run into each other over the summer or classes together next school year, I had to act. After dismissal, I texted Ellis that I'd be late to our after-school training session. Then I caught up with Drew at the bicycle rack. "Can I walk with you for a bit?" Drew fumbled with his helmet clip, startled, but smiling. "Hey, Ro, what's up?" "We're more or less headed in the same direction," I said, which was as much truth as I wanted to get into with an on-campus audience of any size. He gave a nervous affirmative, and instead of getting on his bike, he started walking beside it. I found something related to one of our classes to babble about until we'd made it down the street and around a corner, and it was definitely just us. "This is sort of new to me," I said, "but I enjoy spending time with you, and I was wondering if you want to hang out this summer? Or maybe go on a date?" I'd never seen a human turn such an intensely bright shade of red in my life, like something straight out of an anime, which suited him so well. "Oh, yeah?" Yeah. I grabbed his hand and gave it a squeeze. Well, then, yeah. Drew squeezed my hand back, and his color started returning to normal. Then he hesitated. Fair warning, I'm not moving far, but my parents bought a house. It's this old fixer-upper, so I might get busy with the move, but I definitely want to spend time with you. I'll give you a break from moving stress, I said with a smile. After our second official date, we shared our first kiss. After the third, I told Drew I loved him, and I followed my parents' awkward advice. We had a heart-to-heart about how serious we wanted the relationship to get, since we were just rising sophomores and all. We both agreed that we wanted to be exclusive, and we'd see where the school year took us whenever it came around. I hid only one thing from him, and it was the one thing that would end his life. I didn't tell him I was chosen. Warning him about the existence of demons was too much. What if he thought I was detached from reality with delusions of grandeur and it scared him off? I thought my two realities could coexist side by side without either ruining the other. After the big talk, Drew got busy with moving for a couple of weeks. I saw him once, or thought I saw him, riding his bicycle past Ellis's office when I was getting picked up by my dad after a therapy session. Later, when we bumped into each other at the grocery store, I got the weirdest sinking feeling in my gut when he made eye contact, and then pivoted down another aisle. Later, he sent me a text to apologize. Moving errands, he explained. The rest of the summer passed like that. We still hung out with friends, went on a couple more dates too, and I spotted him around. Sometimes he was as close and open as I expected, only he had more questions about Ellis and my therapy sessions. When he didn't seem to want me to approach, I did my best to give him space. He's not cheating on me or something, right? I asked my mom when my nerves were growing raw. As we unraveled the possibilities over ice cream, my mom let me spin out until I finally caught myself. I had to be overreacting. Moving throws anyone off balance. Love's about letting your guard down. And that can hurt, even when your partner isn't doing anything intentionally to hurt you, my mom said, after I'd drawn my own conclusions. You should talk to him about this too. Not the accusation, but how his actions are making you feel off balance. That would have been a healthy, mature decision. But if moving was already stressing Drew out, I didn't want to become a burden to him. So instead, I bottled it up. Close to the start of the school year, I started having my first run-ins with demons. When I was alone, I ran and called Ellis. When I was with Ellis, we fought side by side, and she supported me in taking my training into the field. I didn't think the increase in demons had anything to do with Drew changing. I was wrong. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Paxwood Book 2, The Trial of the Demon Slayer, is written and narrated by Stephanie Gildart. That's me. Theme music composed by Human Nature. Visit paxwoodtales.com to read the story as it unfolds. Want to read over my shoulder while I write what's next? Catch me live on Moonbeam for laid-back virtual write-ins and crafting. If you like the story and you want more, like, review, comment, subscribe. And if you're feeling particularly entangled, buy me a skein of yarn on Ko-fi. Carrie's totally normal tip of the day. Don't avoid a conversation that would put your heart at ease. Even if it goes badly, you'll come out the other side better off than you ever would by bottling your feelings and suffering alone.